Welcome back to this section where we are going to design and implement the profile screen. This is an essential part of our habit tracker app, allowing users to view and manage their personal details, their app preference, and habit-related statistics. In this lesson, we will focus on displaying user profile information, their name, their avatar, streak count. Then we are going to move further by adding a theme toggle switch to switch between light and dark mode. Then we are going to implement account management options for logout and to toggle notifications. So all this, we are going to create a beautiful user-friendly UI. So let me just give you guys an overview of how the profile screen is the profile layout. So the profile screen is structured into different sections. First, we have the user information panel that displays the user's name, profile picture, their streak count, right? And later, we are also going to implement the date that the user joined the app. Then next, we are going to look at the settings and preferences, where this one includes the options to switch between light and dark mode, to manage notifications, and also a button to update profile details. We'll be adding that later on in the. Then we have the app information and logout section, where you can provide options like about app and logout app. We are going to design the screen with a modern UI approach, keeping it clean, while adding engaging, nice enhancements to the user experience. So here we have our screen, and you can see this was the last part that we talked about in the previous section. So here we have the profile screen. Nothing is here at the moment. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go to our directory under features. We have profile. So here I'm going to create presentation and also create data. Presentation, and we have data here. So inside presentation, I think this should be presentation options. So we are going to remove the S and put provider here. And here we are going to have the views, and we have another directory for widgets. So inside the view, I'm going to create profile screen that like so. So inside here, I'm going to create a stateless widget. We'll call this profile screen. Okay. And we have our scaffold like so. So now I'm going to go back to our main activity screen. And inside here, I'm going to be adding I'm going to replace this test widget with a profile screen widget. Okay. So once that is done, I think we'll have to do hot restart here. So just do hot restart. All right, so I'll quickly move into the screen. And here we have our profile screen. Nice. So inside this profile screen, I'm going to create the app bar, a simple app bar with profile title and force transparency to be true, like so. And here we can also create our body widgets. I'm going to be using center for this. Let's add a child of single child script view because I want it to be school level. And then we have the column where we have this section is going to be for profile picture and username. And then moving on, we are going to have settings list for the app preferences. Then we're going to have a badge section that is going to show your habit level and a button for you to upgrade. So it's more like going to be a gamified badge section, right? Then moving on, we are also going to have a section for showing dark mode and notification and all those stuff, and also logout. So let's take it one step at a time. We are going to build the profile header now. So what I'm going to do here, I have to create, inside here, I'm going to create a new widget, and I will call this build profile header, like so. And inside this, I'm going to go to our widgets and create a new file which I will call profile header. So inside here, I'm going to create a widget called profile header. I'm supposed to pass parameters and all that, but I'm going to leave them like this at the moment. So I'll just statically pass the data inside here. So when we start the integration with Firebase, I'm going to add the necessary data, like the parameter and all that. So here I'm going to add a padding to this. It's going to be 20. And then moving on, I'm going to add an alignment. Let's say alignment dot center, and I'll add a child where we have a column, and inside the child I'm going to put a circular avatar with a radius of 40, a background image. We are going to use cached network image provider where we'll put the avatar, and then the username. So for now I'll just pass one as the username. Okay, so we can just keep things simple at the moment. So I'll go back to the profile screen. Make sure you import the profile header, and you're going to see now we have our profile stuff here. You're going to update all this later, so everything will be aligned accordingly. So for now, don't worry about how it's displaying. Okay, it's not supposed to display in the middle, so we're going to update that later. Then here I'm going to set 10.height. You know, yeah, we also have a test widget. So I'll just have a text widget that says the username, which is Destiny Ed. Then we're going to have an email address field that will just show the user email address, like so. Okay, so this is going to be app colors.gray. All right, so I know you might be wondering, why didn't I just use spacing here? I didn't want this other section to also have that spacing, because if I remove this now and add the spacing here, that means this one too, the spacing will also apply to this one. So I don't want it to behave like that. That's why I just added spacing to only this area. Okay, so this is it for the build header section. The next thing I'm going to build now is the streak card, where we are going to show the streak card of the user. So right here, just under this, which is the settings list, I'm going to build the streak card. Build streak card. So this streak card might just have like the streak count. So for instance, let's say the streak count is 30, right? So what I'm going to do, I'm going to create a parameter that is going to take the streak count. So more like count. Okay, it's going to be a named parameter. So inside here, I'm going to create a new directory, a new file, and I will call these build cards. And here I have to put in the widgets build streak card, and I'll have my streak, let's say count. So this is going to be an integer, and it's going to be a required parameter. And here I'm going to return a card widget with an elevation of 2, and let's add a shape to this. So our shape is going to have like a rounded rectangular border with border radius of circular 12. Okay, so moving on, I'm going to set a child, and here I'm going to use a role widget. Inside the role widget, I'm going to have an icon. Let's say icons.local local fire department, color app colors dot amber, and then a size of 30. So let's see how this displays before we move further. So I'm going to import this here. Okay. Okay, I didn't spell this well, so I'm going to replace this as count. Okay, you can see how it's showing. Looking nice. So I need to add like a padding around this card, because I don't like how close it is. So we're going to add horizontal. I think this should be symmetric, where we have horizontal to be 16. We have vertical to be 8. So save that. Looking good. Think we also have to wrap this our role reject with a padding as well. So here I'm going to say all.20, like so. Nice, nice. So I think this icon that we have here, it should be red, like a fire emoji. So I think what I need to do is to replace this. I think we have a fire icon somewhere around here, which is strict fire. Yeah, we can use this. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to replace this with an image.assets, assets slash, this should be strict fire.png. So that works. Though it's very big, yeah, I understand. So we can reduce it to say, let's say 50, or let's say 50 is still big. So we can just reduce it to 30, like so. Nice. So we have that fire emoji, to like say, yeah, this is a streak. Now moving on, we are going to have, let me add a space in here to be 10. Then inside here, I'm going to add another widget, which is going to be a test widget. And this is going to be current streak. So users need to be seeing their streak every time. So we can just have the count here. And then I will go ahead and add a style widget to this. Test style, we have font weight bold. Nice. Think we are making good progress. So that's pretty much it for this one. We can leave it like this, or you can decide to align it to the center. But I believe it's okay the way it is. We can decide to say main axis alignment and center. Well, it's still not bad. It's still not bad. Or we can use space evenly. Yeah, I think this is pretty much good. I prefer the initial one, so let's leave it like this. Maybe later we can decide to centralize it or anyhow. Now this is it for the streak section. Now I'm going to go back, and here we have another section which is going to be the build leaderboard card. So you need to know your ranking in the leaderboard. You also need to know other details. So here I'm going to build leaderboard card. Now we might update this later. We can update all this later. So we have 30, or like to tell you your leaderboard status, like what's the state of your leaderboard, like your position. So right here, I'm going to create a new card, and I will call this one, no, I think I'll just leave it inside this build card widget. So just below it, I'm going to create a new widget called build leaderboard. And here I have, what did I use here? I use position. Position should work. And here I'm going to create a name parameter, which is going to be like so, and return a card widget. I think it's just going to be similar as this one. So I'll just copy this and put it right here. So I'm going to change this to, this is going to be an icon like leaderboard icon with secondary color of, yeah, with the secondary color. Then this one, I'm going to change it to say position, leaderboard position. Like so. And we have the level that says position. Nice. So you can see now we have the leaderboard position level 30. I think, yeah, everything is coming together. We are making progress one step at a time. So the next thing I need to create now is the habit level. That's going to show us how long, or how was like the gamified batch section that's going to show us your habit level, like if you need to upgrade from a specific like premium to another higher level, just like that. Okay, that's what I'm going to do next. So to get this done, I'm going to have let's say I have, first I need to create habit level stuff, more like I have this util. Let me just grab it quickly. Just hold on a second. I have this util here. So I'll just add it inside this profile screen, just below here. We have, instead of adding it here, okay, I'm going to create a provider. Let me call this profile provider. Here we have a class, and I'll call this profile provider. Let's extend change notifier. So inside here, I have this guy. As you can see here, we have this get habit level, and I'm using a record to return the data. So based on the level, if the level is less than 50, that means you are silver, you are in the level of silver. So if the level is greater than 50 or 49 and it's less than 100, you are a bronze, you have bronze. Then if it's greater than 100, you are in the platinum level. So there will be access for you to upgrade to different level. And when you upgrade to this level, you will have different status and different things that you can do in the app, which will be coming on in the later updates. But I'm going to give you guys an idea of how to add subscription in the app using this method. Then if nothing is here, we are just going to show no level. So I just use a switch case here to check for the conditions, and I use record to return the values back. You can use a map if you want with key value pairs and all that. It's going to work. So remember, after adding a provider, the next thing we need to do is to go to your app directory, your app file. Inside here, we are going to create register this, which is going to be profile provider, like so. So now we can move on one step. And inside here, I will just go ahead and wrap this whole body widget with the stream builder. And here I have my consumer, and here I'm just going to add the profile provider. So here we have the profile. So I believe you know the purpose of provider is to manage our states, right? So I believe you already have experience on that. If you don't have, I'll be putting a link where you can watch the tutorial where I talked about provider and all that. Well, more of it, you're going to see more of it as we progress further. So in this Gamified section, we are going to create the levels and ability for users to update. So here I have, let me just use my center widget here. I have my column. I think I will need to wrap this column with a padding widget. So because I want some spacing, and this is going to have horizontal. And here we have the padding. And inside this column, I'm going to add a role widget. We have children as well. Okay, so inside the role, first thing I want to add is a touched widget with your habit level. That's just going to show your habit level. This habit level now is going to be coming from the profile state. You can see profile state.title, profile state.browns, profile state.platinum. So first thing we want to do, let's have something like this habit level that says profile state dot get habit level. So initial level should be something like 30. Okay, initial level should be, I think, 0 for new users. Let's just leave it at 0. So what I'm going to do here, habit level, your habit level dot title, you can see now is returning silver. And if we go to our profile provider, you see that silver is for any level that is less than 50. Nice. I think we are making good progress. And for this one, it's very close to the leaderboard position. So what I'm going to do, I'll add a height here of 20 to just bring it down. All right. So moving on, I'm going to add a button, elevated button that says upgrade, and I'll also add a spacer in between it, like so. So we have to import our colors like this. So here you can see I have your habit level silver and ability for you to upgrade to another plan. So you can upgrade to silver, platinum, or I think silver, platinum, or the other one. So we have different silver, platinum, bronze, right? You can update to 3 levels. Okay. And that's pretty much it for that one. We can also add a linear progress indicator that is going to show your progress. So we're going to add that just below this role. We have a height of 10 here. So right here, I'm going to add a linear progress indicator. So the value of this progress indicator is going to be based on the habit level. The value, let's divide it by 100, because this habit level is from 0 to 1%. I think 0 to 1, right? 1 is the highest and 0 is the lowest. So if you do something like 2, it's going to throw error, or something like 3, it's not really going to, I think it's going to work here. But let's just leave it like this. So since value is 100, you can see it's not showing anything. It's just empty like that. So if we do something like, let's say, assuming value was 30 now, for instance, you can see it's half percentage. So I'm going to add a color, which is going to be the habit level dot color, because the habit also have a color inside. You can see we have colors, title, and the value. Okay, so finally, we are going to set the minimum height for this and also the background color. Okay, I think with opacity is deprecated, so I usually use alpha. Let's use something like, let's use 50. Our stuff is hiding. Minimum height, I think because this is 0 and the background color is white. Let's change this to, let's change our habit level to 30 so that we can clearly see what we are doing. Okay, this works. It's giving us red color. What did I do? Okay, let's use let's make this, okay, yeah, the background color is showing. You can, if you look very well, you're going to see a white background. I think that white is not really giving. Let's use gray. This gray is also not good, so let's revert it to 20, 50, 100, 10. Okay, so I think gray should work. Gray of 30, yeah, something like that is coming, and we have it like this. Okay, so this is the color, the progress color. Nice, nice. I think we are making good progress. Then the next thing I'm going to do here is to, where's the end of this center widget? Here I'm going to add a space of 10. So now we are going to add the dark mode, notification toggle, the about toggle, and the logout as well. So to do this, I'm going to create a new section. This is more like the app preferences. Okay, so just below here, I'm going to build a list style. So this list style is going to take different parameters. So here I'm going to create build list style inside this widget. We have build list style dot that. So here is, as you can see, this is the build list style. It takes a required parameter of icons and title. It takes a trailing widget and on tap property callback with a color, right? And I use a list style with all the required values. Nice. So inside here, I'm just going to import the build list style. And so for the dark mode switching, to switch between dark mode and light mode, I'm just going to add this here. So is dark mode, let's set it to true at the moment. It's going to show here is dark mode true. So we are also going to add the different values like for notifications, and also, so this one is going to be for notification. We have the icons passed, icons of notification, and the title notifications with a switch value true on change. We are going to implement this logic later. And then we have another section for logging out the user. So for logging out the user, we just have to duplicate this. So right here, I'm going to put this here, and this is going to be log out. and this is going to be logout. And here I'm not going to use a switch for this trading. So basically I'm just going to remove this trading icon, and I'll add a title color. Let's say app colors dot red. And I'm also going to add an on tap property. So this on tap will be called whenever user clicks on logout. Okay, you can see how it's showing. Then the next one I want to do is to build a list style for that we are going to use to show about of the app. So showing about, I will just put it above this logout. So right here, you can see what I did. I have the build list style and I added an icon to show info outline. Then the title is about app. We have the on tap property. And now I'm using, this is already available in Flutter, show about dialog. Okay, it is already available in Flutter. It's used to show about dialog with licensing and all that. So it has different parameters: the application name, application version, application icon, if you want to put the application icon and all that. So let's put the application icon for here. Let's see. Okay, the application icon is already here. This is the application icon. So we can just change this to be an image.assets, assets.logo.png. Then let's give it a width of 40, like so. So now watch out, and we also have the children. This children just contains about of the app. So this is the about of the app. Rise is a powerful habit tracker designed to help users build and maintain habits, blah, blah, blah. So we just added the description of the app. And to make things better, what we can do is to move this to the constant directory. So right here, I'm going to create about app, and we can paste it here. We move one of these. Okay, then we can go back here and put it here, about app. Nice. So see what happens when we click on it. It's going to show this show about dialog. You can see Rise Habit Tracker app. This is the icon. This is the version of the app. So you can use different plugin like version. We have platform versioning plugin dependency on pub.dev that we can use to retrieve these values from the app. Then we have the about of the app. You can also view licensing. So this licensing is going to show all the dependency that you have used in the app. It's going to show all the license of the dependency. It's more like a nice dialog that is available in Flutter. So you don't need to do anything to get that. But you can design a custom UI if you want. So now that is pretty much it for the whole settings, app UI, and everything. So now what we are going to do next is to implement the team switch and the notification toggle, because at the moment this is just static. So we need to add the toggle switch so we can move them between true and false. So what I'm going to do next is to go to the profile provider. Inside here, I'm going to create a boolean that shows is dark mode. Okay, by default it's going to be false or true depending on how you want it to be. Then we have a getter. I think I will just make this like a getter and a setter. We have a getter that says is dark mode. Then it's going to listen to this dark mode switch. Then we can have something like set switch theme, like this. Later on, we are going to be using shared preference to store the team data. We are going to do that later on to store the team switch. In case user restarts the app, it's still going to maintain the correct value. Okay. So switch team, we are going to do this. So switch team, we can just call is dark mode equal to the reverse of is dark mode, and then go ahead and call notify listener. Okay, this should be switch team. All right, and then I'm also going to duplicate the same thing for, I think, toggle team. This should be toggle team. Yeah, Then this is going to be toggle notification. Then is notification enabled? Okay, like so. Nice. So by default, all these values are going to be false. So I'm going to go back here inside the team switch. This value, we are going to have it from the profile state dot is dark mode. Okay, then notification, we are going to say profile state dot is notification enabled. So save it. By default, you can see they are all false. So whenever users toggle on this value, what we are going to do here is to call profile state dot toggle team. Okay, I don't think we really need this, but you can use this if you want to know the state, the value, if it's true or false. All right, then here I'm just going to do the same thing, profile team dot toggle notification. So what happens, real-time data, since we are using provider, as I toggle, you can see that the values are changing immediately. If I go back and still come back, it's still going to retain the value. But if I restart the whole app using hot restart, if I go back, it's not going to retain the actual value. Watch. You see, it's now returned back to false. So to persist this data, we are going to be using shared preference to persist it, which we are going to be doing later in the following sections. All right, so this is pretty much it and everything that we need to know about this one. So far, we have seen how to design the profile screen, everything about the profile screen, and a button to upgrade to a new plan, and the switching, how to add the switching and all that. Okay, so see you guys in the next section where we are going to be integrating this with Firebase. Okay, so we are going to introduce Firebase and its dependencies and everything.